So one of the biggest issues to the business community is workforce. The Kentucky Chamber just released our workforce report where we detailed a lot of the challenges being faced by the business community when it comes to the workforce and workforce training programs in the state. And one of the recommendations in the report was that the next governor take a top to bottom look at the system and bring in an outside entity to review the system before even finalizing cabinet structure of the administration. How do you feel about that request, and how would you handle it?
Well, I will take that request into consideration, will largely comply with it, to be honest with you. Workforce development is an issue that I've been talking about for several years now, and I really appreciate the Chamber's involvement, and they're making recommendations. And I agree with the Chamber that the cabinet structure needs to be changed. We almost need to step back and say, okay, what do we want our workforce to look like? And then redesign it and figure out, does the workforce development cabinet in its current structure, is it meeting our needs? How does the workforce development cabinet interface with the Kentucky community and technical college system? How do we maximize the new workforce innovation grants that are coming? So all those recommendations coming from the Chamber are very well received on our end, and when I'm the next governor, by and large, I will adhere to those. We are going to redesign the cabinet. I have been saying out on the campaign trail, Jacqueline, as I travel across the state, that the next workforce development secretary needs to be just as important as the economic development secretary. And that hasn't always been the case in Frankfort, because when businesses are thinking about coming to our Commonwealth, they want to know what the tax structure is, and they want to know what the quality of life is, and then they need to know about their workforce. And we have a real skills gap in this state, Jacqueline, we really do. I was, right now here in Louisville, where we're taping this interview, you can go down to the Louisville assembly plant, and they can't find enough skilled electricians for their expansion down there. They're paying $27 an hour. Or a few months ago, I was in Henderson at a tool and die shop where they were making, it was advanced manufacturing, and they were making the molds for auto parts. And the CEO was paying his employees about $100,000 a year, had 50 employees, was running this facility 24/7 in 3 separate shifts, and he was looking for 50 more employees and couldn't find them. Same story throughout central Kentucky, yet we could go to eastern Kentucky and go through counties that have near 20% unemployment, and you can see and feel the despair as people don't have jobs, and jobs that have been in their families for generations are no longer around. So this is a big conversation, and it's one that we have to get right, and it's one that I'm committed to getting right.
Now, you talk about how big workforce is to you, and obviously in your jobs plan, it's one of the top things,
Yes.
building the best workforce. And you suggest we do a statewide apprenticeship program. How do we go about doing that, and what do you think are the most important skills that need to be taught in that type of system?
Well, I mean, the Chamber has identified that some of the most important skills to be taught are the soft skills, excuse me. Being on time, being polite, being able to interface with others. I mean, I think that is very, very important. We have to work with men and women in labor as well as the Chamber to make certain that we're designing an apprenticeship program that meets the needs of local employers. And we also need to do a better job, Jacqueline, in when kids are 16, 17, and 18, that both the teenagers and their parents understand what opportunities are out there. Does it make sense to take out a large loan for 4 years of college? What could they potentially make if they were to enter into an apprenticeship program? We need to do a better job of putting that information out on the table and letting young people and their families make decisions for themselves. I've been in and around Frankfort for a while now. It was nearly 20 years ago when I worked with Governor Patton, and we had higher education reform. I mean, they were his ideas, but I wrote the bill out. And what we were trying to do there is we were trying to take the community colleges from the University of Kentucky, pair them with the technical schools, have them share resources, and be responsive to the needs of local employers. One of the things we have to do in higher education reform or in workforce reform is to take a good look at the KCTCS as well and see if on a college by college basis or a school by school basis, are they really meeting the needs of local employers? Because in many cases they're not.